All right, guys, here we go. The NBA Draft Lottery is done. This was a huge one, really, because it kind of shapes the next 4 or 5 years of the NBA. One of the better drafts we've had in a while is upcoming. And who got the top pick? What does the rest of the league look like? And who can go after the trade targets that are going to be out there? All that and more. Here we go. All right, guys, the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery is set. Everything is done. How the odds have played out in recent years, I myself am very happy with the change they made from the old-fashioned way where it was you basically got the number one pick if you were picks 1 or 2. If you had the 25% or the whatever it was, 18%, whatever it was. The switch in the NBA lottery setup, the shrinking of percentages, has definitely helped because there is no longer a basic guarantee of getting the number one pick if you're the worst or second worst team in the league. So that it has accomplished. Many things the NBA has tried has not worked, but that one has. So we're going to go through the NBA draft order real fast, and then we're going to talk about what ramifications there are for the future. And there's a big reason for this. Number one, a lot of different veteran players will be available this offseason. Potentially LeBron James, and I'll explain why here in a second. But let's go through the draft order, and we're going to go from the bottom to the top, just like the NBA does. So picking 30th in this draft as of right now is the Los Angeles Clippers. First round draft picks normally this late really don't mean anything, but this draft is deep. They'll be able to get a role player for themselves at the bottom of this draft. 29th is the Phoenix Suns, 28th is the Boston Celtics, and then the Brooklyn Nets via Houston and the New York Knicks have picks 27 and 26, which is actually going to be huge. We'll talk about why, but that's actually going to be huge. 25 is the Magic in a trade with the Nuggets. Oklahoma City has number 24. The Pacers have number 23. The Hawks have number 22. Jazz are 21st. Heat are 20th. The Brooklyn Nets then draft 19th as well. The Wizards draft 18th. Timberwolves 17th. Magic again draft. This is their own pick at 16. Oklahoma City Thunder again draft at 15 from Miami. Then you have the Spurs at 14, the Hawks again at 13, the Bulls at 12, Blazers at 11, the Rockets then at 10, then you have the Raptors at 9, the Nets once again sitting at 8, Pelicans 7, Wizards 6, 5 is the Utah Jazz, 4 is the Charlotte Hornets, 3rd is the Philadelphia 76ers. Big opportunity for them. The San Antonio Spurs have another first-round pick, number 2 in the draft, and then number 1, Dallas Mavericks. So you trade away Luka, and credit to Penguin, because this was immediately after it happened, what he sent me. Credit to Penguin. The very first thing he texted me was, trade Luka away and then get the number 1 draft pick. Yeah, not a bad idea. You got hosed in the draft, or you got hosed on the trade. The trade was 1,000% in favor of the Lakers. Mavericks got fleeced. Nico was desperate, was stupid. He was a complete buffoon, and he's been one ever since. Hopefully he can turn it around, because he's not a horrible GM. He's just really had a bad last 6 months. But now you get Cooper Flagg. It's going to be Cooper Flagg. There's no doubt. You get the all-around talent. We've seen that the all-around talent works in the NBA. But let's kind of switch gears. What is the rest of the NBA now looking at? We know we have Kevin Durant available, potentially Devin Booker. I don't think the Spurs now are actually going to move. I think they believe they can build with this. They got Wemby. They got Castle. They've got De'Aaron Fox. I think this could actually really work. I really do. Spurs could easily fill out the rest of their starting 5, make the playoffs next year, and start building a team with a brand new coach. Pop is not going to be there, with a legitimate head coach that's going to be there. San Antonio's not going to move off of him. So you've got longevity that's going to happen. You have the ability to continually build. They have picks number 2 and 14. I would not go after Giannis in this draft. This is not the draft I would go after Giannis and trade 2 picks. You've got number 2, you've got 14. I would not trade both of those for Giannis. I would not. I know there's a lot of people that say they should. Wemby at the 5, Giannis at the 4. But you're going to have to get rid of Castle. And Castle, being the rookie of the year, really, really helps this team. Really does. So, honestly, I'd build it the way the Spurs build. Draft everybody. It's your MO. Don't change from your MO now, because it makes you better. It makes you the San Antonio Spurs. You are the Spurs because you draft and develop and develop and develop. And then you go back and you draft again and develop and develop and develop. Kawhi wanted to be traded. He's a hot shot. He didn't fit the San Antonio Spurs mold. Oh well. Traded him. You got some picks back. It wasn't a big deal. And he hasn't done anything anywhere else either. He still doesn't have a chance. Yeah, he got the one with Toronto, but that team had some players that could play. But he's in LA and he can't do anything. So with that, just relax. Be yourself. Be yourself. So if you're the Spurs, I am not getting into the Giannis sweepstakes. Now, here's the thing, though. And I know this has been a big talking point today. The Nets now have 4 first-round picks. 4. There is a very big potential. They could trade 4 first-round picks and no players and get Giannis. Because they'd all be this year. It would be the 8th pick, the 19th pick, the 26th, and the 27th pick in an NBA draft that is deeper than the last 4 or 5 years. Much deeper. Much crisper prospects. Guys that you actually believe can come in and contribute. Maybe not start all the way down, but contribute in an 8-man rotation. With that being said, I don't know how it would work out. I really don't. But the Nets are in the driver's seat. The Rockets are actually in trouble. They really are. Just looking at this, the Rockets only have pick number 10. The Atlanta Hawks actually are in a better position because they got pick 22, pick 13, to be able to use and move up. The reality is, I mean, not many other people really have a shot. Mavericks only have one. The Nets have 4. The Rockets have 1 pick. But the Hawks have 2 picks. I could easily see the Atlanta Hawks making a move, getting rid of one of the guards, and making a move. Trae Young and Giannis. It would actually make sense. It really would. The Indiana Pacers, I think, will use theirs at 23. I'm only mentioning them because obviously it's living here in Indy. They'll use theirs because they're going to try to stay below the cap, so they're not going to trade it away. The Washington Wizards, though, have 6 and 18. I mean, they need a first-round pick. The name that isn't on this list for the first round is the Milwaukee Bucks. They don't have theirs. They do not have their pick. It was already given to Brooklyn. So therefore, you're really in trouble if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. You have no ability to build this year. Getting 2 picks from the Wizards, which are 6 and 18, or the Hawks, which are 13 and 22. Or even the Jazz. Now, I don't want them to go west. And here's why. This is what ends up happening. And I don't think it's an actual market issue. This is a GM issue. Miami has the 20th pick, but that is the only pick they have. The Magic have 25 and 16, so they've got 2 picks as well. Giannis would interrupt what they're building in Orlando, though. Those 2 picks solidify what the Magic are doing. They've shown they know how to draft, so that's just fine. The way that everything else plays out, though, I know I've heard some OKC rumblings. They'd have to give up a lot. OKC would have to give up a good amount, and they've got 2 picks, 15 and 24, but I don't want them going west. Giannis needs to stay in the East. You already got Cooper Flag going to the West. So we need to have Kevin Durant and Giannis. Kevin Durant come back to the East. Giannis stay in the East. And then you have Philadelphia draft at 3rd and get stronger. Indiana's now been there. They're up 3-1. Huge W last night. Huge W. And as of this recording, Boston was leading New York. Huge W last night. So, barring a catastrophic failure and a collapse, the Pacers are going to be in back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to continue building. The Orlando Magic are on their heels. The Atlanta Hawks, with 2 picks, can easily improve. I think they got to make some moves. The Wizards, I know everybody laughs because the Wizards were so bad. The Wizards can make a move. The Wizards can make a simple move. The way that all this plays out right now, Kevin Durant is not going to go to Brooklyn, obviously. But what if he went to Washington? What if he went to Atlanta with Trae Young? What if he went to Orlando? Because I think he may not upset Orlando like Giannis would. He'd be able to be the shooter in Orlando. He would easily make Orlando a top 6 team in the East. In fact, with the way they're growing, I would say he'd easily make them a threat for the top 4. So do you make that move? The Giannis and Kevin Durant sweepstakes are really interesting. But what's also interesting is, are we sure that LeBron is going to stay with the Lakers? And here's what I mean by that. He was bad in the playoffs. He showed he can't play a full season and then play the playoffs. He's too old. He got old. Okay, I don't want to get into the whole stupid debate. That's not really a debate. MJ's better than him and always will be. But forget that debate for a second. He's old. Why are you going to pay max money for an old guy? You wouldn't ever do that. Why would LA now, in a complete rebuild situation, want to bring him back and keep paying a ton of money for somebody who's not actually going to contribute if he plays 72 games in the year? He even got injured before the playoffs started, was able to sit out, and still was gassed. Still couldn't play. My simple thing is, look out for some of these teams. Look out for some of these teams. The Orlando Magic having 2 picks, the Hawks having 2 picks, the Wizards having 2 picks. Those teams, I think, are more in line for the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Brooklyn could easily make this move. Houston can't. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to want 1 first-round pick in this draft. If Brooklyn comes in with a 3 first-round pick offer and Claxton, Milwaukee's going to take it. It's 3 first-round picks this year. You're thinking those 3 first-round picks may not be Giannis individually, but could easily build up to Giannis, and we'll have a full team again. We don't know if Damian Lillard's ever going to play basketball for them again. Just start building. Just start the rebuild. Go back to the jerseys that actually looked good. Just start the rebuild. Start the new era. You got a championship. I said this last week. You got a championship. Be happy with getting the championship. Now rebuild and go after it again. But the idea that the Rockets are going to be able to come in, swoop in, the amount of players the Rockets would have to give up with only getting 1 first-round pick this year would be outrageous. Don't do it. Yeah, Rockets, you need something. You're picking 10th. I get looking at the teams in front of you. Okay, so let's just look at this. The Pelicans are at 7. Brooklyn's at 8. You're not getting that one. Toronto's at 9, right in front of you. Portland is right behind you at 11, and the Bulls are at 12. I bet you could trade 2 players and get that 12th pick from Chicago. I do think Charlotte is one of the worst general managed teams there is when it comes to finances and everything else. You may be able to get the 4th round pick from Charlotte for 2 players. Houston, don't blow up everything. You know what you have. Don't blow everything up. Build. You've got a good team. You've got a good team. The Warriors are now older. Jimmy Butler will probably be available again. I'm just saying. Jimmy Butler will probably be available again. There's rumblings that Cat will be available again. Potentially Josh Hart will be available again. Okay? Certain things, certain players are going to be available. Here's a thought, and this is mostly for teams that are sitting on the edge. Like, I could see the Atlanta Hawks, if the Pacers don't sign Miles Turner, they could sign Miles Turner, trade 2 first-round picks, and a player, 2, 3, whatever it is, to Milwaukee and get Giannis. You then have a guy that stretches the floor as the 5 to be able to be on the outside so Giannis can use the lane on his own. And you still got Trae Young. So you didn't have Trae Young, Miles Turner, and you'd have Giannis. The Hawks would be very viable very quickly. And then if you get Durant to go to the Magic and play with them, now the Magic and the Hawks are 2 teams you don't want to play. Now, the Hawks need to go back to the old uniforms too from the Steve Smith days, but I digress. So there's options. There's options. And this is going to make it really interesting. The Thunder going after Giannis to me would be a mistake. SGA owns that team, and the rest of the team plays around SGA. I'm not ruining my team. I'm not ruining the cohesiveness to go get Giannis. I'm not. I'm definitely not ruining cohesiveness to go get Durant. That's why I'm not trading a bunch of players for Durant. I'll give him 2 picks. I can get Durant, and it works. The Hawks could go get Durant in a heartbeat, and I think they easily become a top 6 team. The West, there's some teams. I don't think San Antonio makes those moves. OKC has 2. OKC going out and getting Durant again would be hilarious. But hey, why not try? I don't think Brooklyn does. That's a far-fetched idea. But I really like the Magic or the Hawks to go after Durant for sure. But I think the Hawks could go after Giannis. The Wizards could go after Giannis. The Wizards really could. Let's take a look here. Hang on. Let me look here. So, looking at... Here we go. So, with the Washington Wizards, you've got Alex Sarr. You've got Marcus Smart. Depending on how everything else plays out, Jordan Poole was out. Jordan Poole can play the shooting guard position. But you got Marcus Smart there as the veteran backup point guard. Okay? They went 18-64 this year. Obviously, it wasn't a great year. Alex Sarr, though, okay, power forward, 7-foot power forward. He was the 2nd pick last year. Pairing him with Giannis would be huge, okay? Here's why. He averaged 13 points a game, 6.5 boards, 2.5 assists. He averaged 1.5 blocks, all right? And he only averaged 2 fouls a game. That's big. For a guy like that, that is big. He matches what Giannis would be able to do. He matches being able to play the way they want to play. Pairing Sarr with a guy like Giannis, you could probably get a couple players to come in and want to play with you. Washington going after him wouldn't be a bad option. Jordan Poole plays good. Bub Carrington, also from last year, the 14th pick in last year's draft, 10 points a game, 4 boards, 4 assists. Listen, let players build. Giannis may not want to be a part of another building team. But if he doesn't want to be a part of another building team, then he's going to be stuck because those other teams are going to have to give up so much, they will no longer be the team that he wants to go to. That's the problem. That is the problem. So let's go ahead and look at the Hawks, because this is the one I really think the Hawks could make a move. It just, something inside of me says the Hawks could make a move. They made the play-in. It would work. So if you're the Hawks, you've got a Okongwu, 13.5 points a game, 9 boards, 2 assists, averaged 1 block a game. You could get rid of him in the Giannis trade. You have Dyson Daniels, who you got, was your first round pick in 2022. I don't think you get rid of him. He averages, 14 and 6. He works well with Trae Young. But you may have to get rid of Dyson Daniels. You may have to. Trae averages a double-double. He averaged 24 points, almost 12 assists a game. You may have to. Terrence Mann and Chris LeVert are your backups at your guard position right now, and it would kind of make sense. It really would. You could easily move on. The Hawks have the ability, with the way that their roster is set up right now, they could get rid of a player or two, bring in Giannis, and I think you'd be okay. You trade them 2 picks, you get Giannis. And I think it would actually make sense and you'd be all right. Now, a team that does not need to do this at all, in fact, I would not in any way whatsoever make this trade. The Orlando Magic. Like I said, I'm not doing it, but they could do it so easily. Like, they could do this so easily. I mean, Anthony Black, Cole Anthony, Caleb Houston, Jonathan Isaac, those are your bench guys. Those are your bench guys. KCP is a starter on this team. Like, no. Do not break up that side of the team. Just don't do it. Do not do it. So looking at the draft, looking at how everything is, the three teams that I really want to watch on the East. Let's split this up. The three teams to watch on the East: Wizards, Nets, Magic. Those are my top three. And then be careful of the Hawks. Be careful of the Hawks. The Magic, I think, will want to make a move, and I don't think they really need to, because if they make that move, it's not going to go over well. But I think the Magic and the Nuggets, or Magic and the Hawks, could be interchanged because of how everything plays out. So one of those two teams, I'm going to go Magic first, because I think the Magic have that killer instinct right now of they were the team that fought the Celtics. They feel they can play with anybody. So the three teams in the East, look out for Washington, Brooklyn, and Orlando, and a wild card being the Hawks. In the West, I'm not going to look out for the Spurs. I know a bunch of people say look out for the Spurs. I don't think so. I don't see that happening. Look out for the Jazz. Look out for OKC. Those are your top two. Those are your top two to look out for. And then just because they're the ones that actually have the picks, yeah, you do have to look out for OKC. You do. The Jazz, Oklahoma City Thunder, and you're probably going to have to end up looking out for San Antonio. I wouldn't. But I'm sitting here going, the Rockets with one pick, what are they going to be able to do with just one pick? They're going to have to give away 3 or 4 players. I don't see it being able to happen. I just don't. But there you go. There's the draft lottery. There's where we're at. Pacers are up 3-1. We got game 4 of the Timberwolves and Warriors tonight. Right now, Boston's up by 14. In game 4, they're in Madison Square Garden. So, Thunder Nuggets tied 2-2. Pacers up 3-1. It's been exciting playoffs. I love this. The schedule release for the NFL is Wednesday. We're getting some of the games like Atlanta's playing the Colts overseas. We got the Chiefs versus the Broncos on Christmas night. We know that. The way that everything's playing out, though, so one of the things, like, right now we haven't really talked about, like, George Pickens, I've said a little bit, I mean, it's a Jerry Jones trade. Derek Carr retiring was a big one, I think, for the Saints. Not that they were surprised, but that it helps them know what the future holds. It helps Kellen Moore now know that, listen, you get a gimme this year. We're looking at what's going to happen in the future, not right now. So I like it. But Wednesday is the schedule release. So I will have full reaction Wednesday with my first predictions for the year for the record. And I can't wait for that. I cannot wait. I've got Wednesday circled. I've had it circled for a long time. I am so ready for this. It is huge. Absolutely huge. And super exciting. All right, guys. That's it. NBA news. That's where we're at. We are in the NFL offseason, so we don't have a ton. Baseball, geez, the Padres crushed the Rockies the other day. 21 runs. Good gosh. The Rockies are just bad. Fired their manager, Bud Black. So, plenty of stuff going on in the baseball world as well. But we are down to more or less 3 or 4 podcasts a week. Fantasy stuff actually for me is kind of leveled off. I've got fantasy baseball going, but everything else is officially into off season, kind of slowed down, and just kind of relaxing. Summertime's coming. The kids only have 11 days left of school, and we'll be on summer vacation, and it is going to be a busy summer. I looked at the calendar. It's busier than the freaking school year. So, exciting things. Make it the best day you can, guys. It is Monday night, so make it the best Tuesday that you can. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, like, subscribe, and I deeply appreciate it. Until Wednesday, when we have the schedule release reaction for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. See you guys later.